Everyone faces a battle every day. And it's not a battle against another person. It's a battle against our own thoughts. As Seneca said, we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. This is true because our thoughts and what we are thinking define who will we become. Let me give you a personal example. Every day that I go to the gym, my body tells me that I'm tired and that it's better for me to go the next day. But that's when my mind comes to play. And it says, no, you should go because you should be strong. Winners are the ones who make things even when they don't feel like it. For example, football players or tennis players. I'm sure they don't want to go training every day, but they do it because they learn to control their mind. The best example I can give you is David Goggins. Well, the first rule I wanted to give you some set of rules to learn to master your mind. The first rule is don't let bad days make you think you have a bad life. This rule is very powerful because there are situations in our lives that put experience on us, and that these situations, we shouldn't let these situations control our life. Like for example, if you have one bad day, you can't have one bad week. So it's important that when you can't control what's happened to you, control how you respond to it. That's why I want to give you one example about David Goggins. David Goggins is a former Navy SEAL, ultramarathon runner, and author. He is the personification of mastering our minds because he had a very troubled childhood. He had obesity, he faced racism, and a lot of other challenges that were difficult to him. But it wasn't physical strength that helped him stand out. It was the master of his mind. He wouldn't let circumstances define him. He knew that our thoughts can be our greatest allies or most terrifying enemy. That's why the second rule is inspired by him, and is the 40% rule. This rule tells us that when your body tells you that you're tired and that you don't want to keep going, you're only at your 40% of your true potential. The other 60% is mental. It's about breaking those self-imposed limits that our minds create. So now we know that thoughts are the seeds of our lifestyle. That's why the third rule shows us that thoughts leads to action, actions lead to habits, and habits lead to lifestyle. It's important to know that our lives is what our thoughts make it. Let me give you an example. There's one dad who has two sons, and this dad drinks a lot. He's an alcoholic. That's why one son says, I'm gonna drink a lot like my dad. I'm gonna drink a lot because of my dad. But the other son says, I'm not gonna drink because of my dad. It's the same situation, but different perspectives and different choices that leads to a different lifestyle. There's an exercise as well about writing what you wanna be in 10 years. For example, if you wanna be a tennis player, write it down and read it every day. And at first it will seem like a lie, and it will seem like fantasy. But if you read it every day and with hard work, your body and your mind will start to believe it, and one day it will come true. So now that we know that changing yourself starts with changing your mind, so it's important. You cannot change your life unless you change something. If you've done what you've always did, you've always get what you've always got. That's why I want to show you the story of a farmer. There was a farmer in a town, and he had one son and one horse. And one day, the horse runs away. Everyone from the town comes by and says, "Whoa, that's bad news. Your horse ran away. Terrible news." But the farmer says, "We'll see if it's good news or bad news. We don't know yet." The next day, the horse comes with other two horses. And everyone says, well, good news, now you have 3 new horses. But the farmer says, we'll see if it's good news or bad news. And the next day, his son was training one of the new horses, but he fell and broke his back. So everyone from the town came by and says, well, bad news. Your son broke his back. But the farmer repeated and said, we'll see if it's good news or bad news. And the next day, the army came, and they said, we're taking all able-bodied young men to the war. So everyone from the town said, well, good news, your son is unable, he won't go to the war. And this story can keep going on, and it's the same story. And you are the one who will decide if you have good news or bad news all over your life. The fourth rule I want to talk about is that you are what you say to yourself. So change the words you use. It's important to know that the happiest person is he who thinks the happiest thoughts. I want you as well to be kind. Be kind with yourself. I want you to be true. Talk the truth to yourself, because it's not necessary to compare with others. And I want you to be kind with yourself and with others, because everyone is facing a battle they don't talk about. So the battle in our heads is real, and worrying is like paying a debt we don't have. That's why the fifth rule, one that you may know, is Newton's third law. For every action, there's an opposite equal reaction. This means that you are in control of your life and of your decisions. The choices you've made now will affect who you will become, and it will affect your lifestyle. And the last advice I want to give you is one of my own. And it's, keep your thoughts healthy. Keep your head right, because it is in your head that is determined whether you'll be happy or unhappy, whether you'll be healthy or unhealthy. Thank you.